When people look back at the 1980s, several names come to mind. You got Mario Lemieux, you got Wayne Gretzky, you got Mark Messier, you got all the bastion of the young talent that came up to 35 to 40 goal guys, and this guy. I consider this person a top 5 player of the 1980s, might be top 3 or top 4. What he did in hockey is beyond, because he started his career in Finland as an underage player and conquered the junior side, then became one of Finland's top players before he was drafted in the NHL. And how he was drafted is quite the story. So today we're going to be talking about the Finnish Flash, I think the greatest draft pick that the Oilers ever had in 1980. It was a steal at number 69, Jari Kurri. Now, Jari Kurri, born May 18th, 1960 in Helsinki, first came to major prominence with his hometown Helsinki squad, Helsinki Jokerit, in a Finnish junior system. He started playing for the senior team in 78 and played junior and senior in 79 and junior and senior in 1980. He also played with Team Finland internationally and helped them to a 4th place finish at the Olympics and came within an inch of knocking off the vaunted U.S. team in the medal series that year in Lake Placid. Now that international event, 3 goals and 1 assist for 4 points. Now his talent was undeniable because he at 6'4", 185, really solid right winger, and from the age 16 to age 20, again, he was one of the best junior players ever. I'll give an example why. Again, at the Olympics he was 4th place. At the World Juniors in 79 he was 4th, led Finland to a silver in 1980. At the European Junior Championships, a big upset, they won the gold. And the European Junior title that year for best forward because of his big goal. Now, at the World Juniors in 1980, he got 11 points to share the lead. Of course, what really drew a lot of attention, he scored in the second overtime versus the Soviet Union to give Finland a 78 European Junior title, and eventually he was expected to sign a 2-year commitment to the Finnish national team and the military in 1980, thereby hurting his status in the draft. Edmonton found out, and they were the only team that found out, that knew Kurri would not sign such a commitment and would rather play in the NHL. Chief scout Barry Fraser kept it quiet. He looked into the situation and knew Kurri was available. Ironically, Kurri originally planned to play only 1 or 2 seasons in the NHL before returning to Finland, and a dual winger. He could also play left wing. By the time he was in the NHL, the big win over Montreal in 81, he became an overnight sensation. Probably, again, one of the most popular and the best money players in European hockey history to come over to the NHL. The big debut, and I saw it, was October 10th, 1980 versus Quebec. I saw that game. I said to myself, this guy's going to go places. Now, he's vaunted number 17, where he wore it in Edmonton, then LA, then the Rangers, then Anaheim and Colorado. Again, a 5-time Stanley Cup winner and 7-time Stanley Cup finalist. Retired May 4th, 1998. Got to the Stanley Cup finals in 93 and 83, but won 5 with Edmonton, the big 5. 84, 85, 87, 88, and 89 and 90. Final NHL totals: 1,398 points and 601 goals, 797 assists. But here it really stands out for me, one of the biggest playoff performers of all time. 200 games in the playoffs, 233 points, 106 goals, and 127 assists. But for some reason, he took more penalty minutes in the playoffs. He had 123. Now look at the awards this guy won. Hockey Hall of Fame in 2001, Lady Byng winner in 85, NHL All-Star First Team 85-87, of course Messier, Gretzky, Anderson, Coffey, everybody else. Sporting News All-Star First Team in 85, Hockey News All-Star First Team in 87, NHL All-Star Second Team 84, 86, 89, all with the Oilers. Sporting News All-Star Second Team 86 and 89, All-Star Game 83, 85, 86, 88, 89, 90 with Edmonton, 93 with LA, 98 with Colorado. Again, lost the Stanley Cup with Edmonton in 83 and LA in 93. So over that 10-year period, again, 7 Stanley Cup appearances. He won the Edmonton Feldman Trophy as MVP in 89. He He was Los Angeles Outstanding Defensive Player in 93-94. He holds or shares many NHL records. Most hat-tricks in one playoff year, 4 in 85, Cup winner. Most hat-tricks in one playoff series, 3 for Chicago in 85. Denny Savard against Gretzky. What a series. If you have a chance on YouTube, watch some of the games. Most goals in one playoff series, 12 for Chicago in 85. Most goals in one playoff year, 19 in 85, sharing the record. Most power play goals in one playoff game, 3 versus LA on April 9, 87, a shared record. Most shorthanded goals in one playoff period, 2 in the third versus Chicago on April 24, 83, and most points by a European-born and trained player with 1398. And again, with the playoffs, over 1,600 points. And again, I don't think anybody's going to beat that record because you'll never see the titles. Now, the Edmonton records. Most assists in one period. Most hat-tricks in one playoff year. Most hat-tricks in one playoff series. Most goals in one playoff year. Most points in one period. Most goals in one game. Most power play goals in one playoff game. Most power play goals in one playoff period. Most points in one season by a right wing. Most goals in one season by a right wing. Most points in one season by a rookie. Most assists in one season by a rookie, 43 and 75, of course, the totals. Most 20-goal seasons, 10. Most consecutive 20-goal seasons, 10. Most 30-goal seasons, 10. Most consecutive 30-goal seasons, 10. Most career playoff goals, 92. Most playoff goals by a rookie. Most goals in one playoff game. Most game-winning goals in one playoff year. Most playoff points by a rookie. Most career playoff power play goals. Most shorthanded goals in one playoff. Most shorthanded goals in one playoff game. He had 100-point seasons in 83 with 104, 84 with 113, 85 with 135, 86 with 131, 87 with 108, and 102 with 89. 50-goal seasons, 84, 85, 86, and 87, 52, 71, 68, and 54. NHL goal leaders, or what is now a Mercer Richard Trophy, 68 and 86. Game-winning goals leader, 9 and 86. Playoff goals leader for Edmonton, 84, 85, 87, 88, and 88. Edmonton points leader with 102 and 89. Edmonton goals leader with 68 and 86 and 88 and 43 and 88. Playoffs goal leader for Edmonton, 84, 85, 87, 88, and 89. Now, I think there's a shaft here. He was ranked by Hockey News in 97 as the 50th greatest NHL player of all time. No, he's top 20 for sure. What he could have done if he would have came earlier or stayed longer, basically, he's top 20 for sure, without a doubt. Now, he was the first European drafted in 1980 and spoke no English when he arrived in Edmonton. Had an assist in his first NHL game, and of course the big line, he played with Gretzky from December 1980 through the 88 season. I think at one time Gretzky had B.J. McDonald and possibly Stan Weir as line mates. It would vary, but by the time Kurri arrived, that was his right-hand man. No pun intended. Now, he became the first Finnish-born player to score 100 points in a season and was runner-up to Bob Clarke for the 83 Selke Trophy. He held the NHL record at 1 point for assists in one season, and also set an NHL record for most consecutive games with at least one assist. You think Gretzky would hold that record with 15 and 84. He set an NHL record at the time for most goals by the right wing with 71, and he became the third player in NHL history with Esposito and Gretzky to score 70 goals in a season. He became the first European player to score 60 goals in a campaign in 85. Now, he was NHL Player of the Week, March 8, 86, and he became the first European-born player to lead the NHL in goals when he achieved that feat in 86. Runner-up to Mike Bossy for the Lady Byng in 86. Fifth place in Selke in 86. And also scored a big overtime goal to give Edmonton a 3-2 win over Philly in Game 2 of the Stanley Cup Finals in 87. He scored the Stanley Cup clinching goal for Edmonton in Game 7 of the series against the Flyers. Now, he led all Campbell Conference Red Wings in balloting for the 89 NHL All-Star Game with almost 200,000. He became the first player under the Wayne Gretzky to lead Edmonton points when he achieved a feat with 102 and 89. 1,000 NHL point, January 2nd, 1990 against St. Louis. All-time leader in playoff goals, a record since broken, when he had his 90th goal for Edmonton on May 18th, 1990. Now, He started playing center when he arrived in LA in 93 and eventually scored his 500 goal in the 92-93 season versus Boston. NHL Player of the Month for November 92, 100 NHL playoff game for LA in the Toronto Campbell Conference Series in Game 3. Now, he broke Peter Stash's record for NHL points by a European player with his 1,222nd tally on December 8, 93 versus Florida. And he wasn't scared to take pain. He played 13 games in a regular season in 94 with a broken foot. Now, he played his 1,000 NHL game versus LA, for LA, on February 11th, 95 at Toronto. Now, when he moved on to Colorado, he considered retirement after the 97 season, but came back to the NHL for one more year so he could score his 600 career NHL goal and be sharp for the 98 Olympics. That 600 counter came for Colorado against LA on December 23rd, 97, and become the first European player to achieve that feat. Now, when he decided to retire on December 9th, 1997, he said it would come after the end of the 98 season. Now, Kurri's number 17 was eventually retired the same year as his Hall of Fame inductions. Now, what was kind of interesting here, Kurri decided to make a change in his life in 1990. Just weeks after winning the Stanley Cup in Edmonton, Kurri and his agent shocked the owners with an announcement that he would leave the NHL to play in Italy the following season. Although he had been offered more money to return to Edmonton, Kurri was a restricted free agent, so his main goal was to be available for the 91 Worlds in his native Finland. On July 27, 1990, Kurri signed a 2-year deal with the Milan Devils, owned by Italian media mogul Silvio Berlusconi, a future, again, head of the country, who also owned the AC Milan soccer team and would later become Italy's prime minister. The contract was worth $350,000 per season, also including housing, and instantly made Kurri the highest-paid European player in the continent's history. It also gave Kurri the option to return to the NHL after only one season. Although the deal was worth way less than half of what Edmonton was offering at $800,000, Kurri stuck to his principles, insisted that he wanted to play for Finland in 91. He knew that Edmonton GM Glenn Sader would never let him leave the team in the middle of the 91 playoffs and would otherwise miss out on a chance to play in his home country. Kurri fulfilled his goal in 91 and determined that he wanted to return to the NHL for the 92 season, particularly if he could once again play in a line with Gretzky in LA. Edmonton, however, still owned Kurri's free agent rights, and the deal would have to be worked out with any team he joined. Although Sader had no desire to trade Kurri within the division to LA, Paisley forced Sader to make a deal with the Kings after Kurri signed an offer sheet with LA on May 30th, 91. 3 hours after learning that Kurri had signed the offer sheet, Sader arranged a three-way trade with the Kings and the Flyers, enabling Kurri to officially join his new team via Philadelphia. And again, he went back to Jocolette as well for a few games. Now, he won a bronze at the 98 Olympics, got a 5th to 8th place finish in 02 as an assistant coach, of course. Now, he also played a Rendezvous 87, the Canada Cup, of course, 3 appearances, 6th, and 3rd, World Cup of Hockey in 96, 5th place, World Championships, 82, 5th place, 89, 5th place, 91, 5th place, 94, silver medal, 2003, 5th to 8th place, again as assistant coach. Now, double IHF Hall of Fame in 2000, Finnish Hockey Hall of Fame in 98, World Championship All-Star First Team, 91-95, the Finnish Hockey Journal's Finland Player of the Year, 82, 83, 84, 85, 86, 87, 88, 89, 90, Finland World Cup of Hockey Captain, 96, World Championships Points Leader, 91 with 12, and again, he played with Helsinki during the 95 lockout. Now, a star tennis player, he won Helsinki's Bermuda Cup tournament for athletes and celebrities each year from 83 to 85. Very active in charitable causes during his playing days in Edmonton, including working with United Way and the NHL RCMP anti-drug program. He also ran a hockey camp in Helsinki during off-seasons of his playing days. He published his autobiography, Kurri 17, in Finland, December 97. Now, he also invested in the Helsinki sports team restaurant that opened in June 98, and also worked as a color commentator in Finland after his retirement. Now, He became active in old-timer charity hockey in Finland after retirement and also played in the Heroes Hockey game at NHL All-Star Weekend in 2000 and 2001. Now, the Finnish Ice Hockey Association has also named the SM Liiga Playoff MVP Award, the Jari Kurri Trophy, which first started being given out in '94 when he was still playing. Now, talking about the trade, a little particulars, we talked about the Dave Brown before in our podcast. Kurri did not sign with Edmonton after the '90 season, and again went to Europe. The three-way deal. Edmonton traded Kurri, Dave Brown, and Corey Foster to Philly in exchange for Craig Fisher, Scott Melody, and Craig Berube on May 30, 91. Philly then traded Kurri and Jeff Chikrin to LA in exchange for Steve Duchesne, Steve Casper, and a 1991 fourth-round pick. So as it's traded out, it was ended like Dave Brown, Corey Foster, Steve Duchesne, Steve Casper, and a 91 fourth-round pick to the Flyers. Again, Edmonton got Fisher, Melody, and Berube, and Kurri again got the Chikrin. LA got Kurri and Chikrin, which led to, I think, the '93 Cup. So as much as Gretzky moving to Edmonton in that trade, Kurri there put him over the top. Notice that Gretzky didn't make the final until Kurri arrived. You can't be Batman without Robin. You can't be Robin without Batman. So why do you think I'm so big on Jari Kurri? Well, let me tell you this, ladies and gentlemen. People don't know the story, but this: the Montreal-Edmonton series, Montreal had momentum in both games to basically overcome the growing threat to the Edmonton Oilers. But it's Jari Kurri and Andy Moog that stood on their heads. Game one could have been highly successful for Gretzky because you could stop Gretzky, but you couldn't stop Kurri. You could stop Anderson, you couldn't stop Kurri. Messier, Lumley, all these role players. Jari Kurri was as good as Fedorov was as everybody else. But from where he came from, the gentlemanly player, the two-way player, I know it sounds weird. How can you be a two-way player when you're getting 71 goals? Where do you have the time to play defense when you're scoring all the time? But I can tell you, Kurri never had a bad shift. If he did, I rarely saw it. Kurri was basically dangerous. You know when they say backing up? You look at Tom Brady where he throws a pass. People are backing up. You don't rush him anymore. The only way you can hope to stop him is, to stop the pass. Because you know he's going to get away like Frank Tarkin was or even Staubach. But the thing is, when Jari Kurri was on the ice, even when he got older, I saw a game in Colorado where there was this 21-year-old defenseman. Man, he looked like he was shitting his pants. Kurri was coming up the zone, and his eyes were going like George Springer with the Blue Jays, the dilation. It was amazing. But I'm very fortunate, ladies and gentlemen. I started following Kurri's career before he was a journalist. I started following his career much more when I was in journalism college. For 38 years, I've been a reporter. I've been covering this guy in one way or another. It is my honor to present my interpretation or my presentation on Jari Kurri, the easiest podcast I've ever done. The man is great. The man will always be a top 5 player to me in the 1980s. But look who's ahead of him, ladies and gentlemen. Look who's ahead of him. Gretzky, Lemieux, Messier, and technically borderline Patrick Roy. Patrick Roy could number 4, just for overall impact. My God, Jari Kurri. And if you're an Edmonton fan, my God, can you imagine what it was like in that dynasty era? From I go back to beating Montreal all the way to 1990. What a great time to be the last dynasty, as I'm going to call it. And that's what it is. No disrespect to Chicago or Detroit, but that's the last dynasty, really, because they owned the 1980s and a little bit of 1990. So, ladies and gentlemen, if you like what we're doing here with our podcast, especially our vintage NHL ones, let us know when to like, comment, or subscribe. I want to thank everybody. We're nearing 400,000 hits on our channel. It's all due to you. The support. This is a non-monetized channel, word of mouth. It's a very pure channel. You give me inspiration every day to do something I know you want to hear, and the requests are always appreciated. But don't forget, go into the YouTube. I always say that. If you've never seen Jari Kurri, this is the first time you're hearing about Jari Kurri, look into the most dangerous 9-letter name in the history of hockey. because whether you're French or Spanish or Chinese, you would hear Jari Kurri in almost every report on the Edmonton Oilers or the NHL for 20 years, because he was always there, the top of the scoring standings, hometown hero in Finland, all of Finland. And Finland's had a lot of great players. To say you're the best of a country ever is saying a lot. Best European, the best Finnish player, and again, the second best Edmonton Oiler, and that's a big respect. Thanks for listening, and keep your stick in the ice.